This surveillance camera footage shows police officers in Georgia trying to secure a chain-link fence as what appear to be fireworks explode around them. Across the roadway, dozens of masked protesters hurled rocks and pyrotechnics toward the police. This was the scene Sunday night in a forested area outside Atlanta, which marked the most violent showdown yet between environmental activists and law enforcement over the construction of a police training facility. Protesters set fire to equipment. Police said they'd made 35 arrests. Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum.
You attack law enforcement officers, you damage equipment, you are breaking the law. This was a very violent attack that occurred this evening. Very violent attack. This wasn't about a public safety training center. This was about anarchy, and this was about the attempt to destabilize.
The site of the planned Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, derisively called Cop City by opponents, has been the scene of escalating confrontations both in the woods and in the city. Demonstrators oppose both the increasing militarization of police and the building of the site in a forest that its defenders call, quote, the lungs of Atlanta. Demonstrations ramped up in January after police killed an environmental activist who went by the name Tortuguita during a raid to clear the construction site. Their name and face became a symbol of the resistance. Protesters that month marched in Atlanta, and some attacked buildings, set fire to a police car, and were arrested. Reuters photographer Alyssa Pointer has been covering the Cop City demonstrations. She was at a nonviolent gathering on Saturday where she saw the issue unite environmental activists with those calling for police reform.
There was a young man from the Dakotas who spoke, and he was from a Native American tribe, and he talked about the importance of protecting the land. I see people who talk about we want to have justice for Rayshard Brooks, the young man that was shot and killed by police in Atlanta a couple days after the George Floyd protests started in 2020. They talked about the Tortuguita, the young man that was shot and killed by police who was occupying the forest at that time. I do believe these two groups are wanting to come together to show solidarity.
Sunday's events began with a music festival that was part of a week of demonstrations against the construction. But police said events turned violent when a group of activists they called, quote, agitators, changed into black clothing, breached the site, and launched bricks, rocks, Molotov cocktails, and fireworks at officers.